This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money, with your host, the real Theo Harvey, and Mr. Benja. Mr. Benja, what's been going on?
Man, so much is going on, and we are halfway through 2024. I was looking up and saying, man, it's only March. No, wait, it's only May. No, wait, it's June, dog. We're already here. So things are happening, things are moving along, and summer movie madness is supposed to be here. But is it even that mad? We don't know. We're going to be talking about it. Theaters looking down. We've been talking about death of theaters. Now it may even be the death of streaming and theaters. What's going on in the hood, the neighborhood, the streets, the internet streets, not the real hood. We're talking about day trading attention, Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy. How are they factoring into all this with this talk of influencers and media? We've got movies coming out in June, Bad Boys, The Watchers, Quiet Place 2, some others, some series. I know people were talking about The Boys. People are talking about House of the Dragon, that hot D, if you're into that. Karl Lagerfeld even got a thing coming out. There's all kinds of stuff happening. But there's good stuff and bad things going, as there always is in the field of show versus business. Theo, I think we're about to just start this summer off, son. What's happening?
Yes, yes, yes. This is summertime, Mr. Benja. And as the one that has small kids, it is very apparent that it's summertime because I am driving all over the damn place now, man. For summer camps, basketball camp, dance camp, acting camp, STEM camp. Oh, Mr. Benja, we have too many camps.
Oh, man.
And I'm driving all over the city of Tampa to drop these kids off to take advantage of time where they should be in school. Yeah, the start of summer season for us has entered in right after Memorial Day. So I'm just running around, Mr. Benja. But it's cool. It's almost a little bit breather because they're not working as hard. So
Mhm.
I feel like I don't have to work as hard, like making sure their grades are good and all that kind of stuff because it's
Yeah.
summertime. So I get a little reprieve, even though I mean, as a business owner, as a person who likes money, I'm still working, but it's somewhat of a reprieve. And then now that we have Juneteenth, woo, we get a 3-day holiday in June, July, and then end of really first weekend in September. Oh, July 4th, excuse me. So yeah, July
Yeah.
4th. So we got all these different holidays coming up. So yeah, I think summer is going to be pretty good. And but like you, Mr. Bitch, I'm just amazed at how fast this already half the year is gone, Mr. Bitches. I was looking at my wife, I was like, dang, it's already June 1st, man. Who would have thought? So yeah, this has been crazy. And one of the things too that's ramping up, I don't know if you noticed, is conference season, Mr. Benja. There's a lot of people out in these streets going to different conferences to
Mhm.
get some learning. As we
Yeah.
talked
Yeah.
about my chance to be with Myron Golden last week. This week, guess what, Mr. Benja? Down in here in the city of Tampa, guess who was in town? The FAMU alumnus.
Oh,
They were in
okay.
town celebrating the Alumni National Association was down in Tampa. They had all these different events, and so I've never seen so much orange and green in my life, Mr. Benja. I felt ashamed. I had nothing green. I had to go find some off plaid green to walk in the door. For those that don't
Oh,
know,
man.
colors are green and orange for Florida A&M University. But it was just
Okay.
good. It was just good to be in that mix again with
Yeah.
other FAMUans and just reminiscing. You remember DJ Demp? I don't know if you remember him, but he
Yeah.
was there. Yeah, we were talking about Moon TV. So it was just good to just reminisce with some folks that had that same collegiate experience and we all understand certain things about going to FAMU. So that was fun.
No, man, it's always a funny scene when you walk in, there's a bunch of green and orange, and you're just like, "Oh," because nowhere else that university, what is it, the Hurricanes?
Mhm.
Maybe, but U of M, right? Yeah.
Of
Uh,
course. Miami.
FAMU, when they do the green and orange, it just it's electric, man. I found some pictures online, and I was just like, I was about to cry because nobody it's gaudy, it's obnoxious, but I love it.
The green and orange. I saw someone on a motorcycle, Mr. Benja.
What?
They had their green on, they had their green and orange shoes on, and they had a helmet with orange braids flapping in the wind. And so I saw them. I had to put my hand up and strike again. And they came back up on me and struck me back, man. It was Yeah, it was so much love, Mr. Bridges. It's
Oh
like, oh, man,
gosh.
this
That
just brought back memories. And at first, I was like, you know what? Some people meet their wives and all that, but I was like, you know what, fam, you did change my life because I met one of my best friend, my business partner. I didn't meet my wife there, but it was just like life changing relationships were had there at FAMU, and so it's definitely heartwarming. And to see people come back to give back to university made me like, maybe I should get involved more. So we'll see.
alright. That is great stuff, man. Yeah, and yeah, he's a cool dude. What's funny is I met him because I met, like, his cousin when we were in Tallahassee, way young.
Mhm.
I was like, "Who's this Amin kid?" And I was like, "Hey, hang out. Hey, that guy's cool." Like, totally lost track of him years later. He shows up with you. I'm like, "What?" I was actually I love it.
I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, and he's from Chipley, which is not too far from Tallahassee. Now I get it, man. But yeah, it was just a great experience, man. And I know you and I, if you listen to this podcast any length of time, we talk about great stories all the time of our time and experiences there. So maybe we'll do a FAMU podcast one day. I don't know. Bring on
So,
some old heads and just reminisce.
speaking of reminiscing, who was your I can't remember. I was trying to remember when Dr. Chris and what was on. We were talking about Mario Kart for a brief second. Who did you guys play with? What character did you use? 'Cause I couldn't remember.
Oh man, I can't
Oh,
remember. It has been so long. I want to say either Toad because I like how he was maneuverability was pretty good.
yeah.
Luigi was okay. I think I like Princess a lot because she could float a little bit more, do some different things. I don't know. It's been so long, Mr. Benja. I'm so out of the gaming scene. My kids are better gamers than I am. My son was beating me, 8-year old was beating me at WWE wrestling the
Oh
other day. I
man.
was like, oh man, let me put this down.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Toad, and I remember Chris, I think, using Yoshi at one point.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I remember from you 2, but yeah, I just remember getting swept up and being like, "Holy crap, there are people better than me." And that sounds crazy, but in my circle, I was, like, one of the better players, but
That's the problem, man. If you want a better place put players in your circle or you want a better persons in your circle, you might need to get a new circle. And so
yeah, life
yeah,
life
it,
lesson learned.
life lesson learned. Yeah, I'm hot shit. I can do this. Then you're like, oh, snap. I don't
I
know
go
my stuff.
I go home, "My circle sucks, dog."
I
I
need to
can't
practice.
I can't use the little what do you call it? The power slide around the corners and shoot the shells at the same time. Oh my god, how is this happening?
I don't know. Oh, that was fun. We used to do that, boy. Oh, well, that was hilarious. Oh, anyway, I miss it. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
So yeah, man, I had a good week. It was funny. I told you about the watercolors a while ago. I didn't really explain what that was about, but watercolors are paint where you can whip them out and start painting a little bit, start drawing a little bit, and if it spills on the floor, it doesn't really matter. Just use some water, sop it up. But I didn't mess with it since I was a kid. Since literally the last time I touched them was like pre-middle school, which
Mm,
elementary school, but like really way early. And I'm just now getting back into the joy of them. And the reason I brought them up is because when I'm working and I need to take my mind away from something, if I start getting too lost in my phone or hey, maybe I should do this or maybe I'll just clean up for a half a second and then all of a sudden I'm pulling out the ladder, doing the rain gutters and everything. It's like with the watercolors, I can actually keep my creativity going. Just pop them out really quick, do something. I don't have to worry about the paint drying on the brushes because watercolors are their solubility can be reactivated, so you can just soak your brushes in water and it'll be fine. It's not like all this other stuff where it takes too much work. But basically, what I was getting around to was a way of keeping my workflow going without keeping the main workflow going and being able to divert myself into something else. You know how when you're just working hard, you're doing your thing, and then someone's okay, the program is done. We're going to compile it and we're going to wait on the assets from the artist. And that's going to take give them an hour or two. And you're like, I got an hour or two. My creative drive is still going. What am I going to do for an
mhm.
hour or two? And then you could derail yourself. After listening to Benjamin Hardy, Alex Hormozy, and all this, I'm looking between the cracks and trying to figure out, okay, how can I keep this flow going? And yeah, man, I just turn around, bust out some quick little sketches and everything. And then by the time I'm tired of that, I'm back into the work again. I'm like, boom, here we go. Here we go. Let's keep it moving. Watercolors, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
The joy of watercolors.
Yeah, yeah.
Put it out there.
And it goes along with my writing because don't worry, that's still the number one thing. I am having some, and this is part of that. I'm having trouble wrapping it up properly. And I'm like, I get to a point and I get writer's block and be stuck on that same block for about 2, 3 hours. And I realized I didn't write crap for 2 or 3 hours. What was I doing? It should
Yeah.
have been just flowing out and done. So I needed something to bridge those little gaps.
Man, that's awesome, man. He's such a creative person. The way I get through, like I got a lot, write a lot of copy, emails, marketing stuff, and
Right.
I'm just like, that's a lot of brain power there. So I try to just do simple stuff just to get myself revved up. Like quickly emails here, quick little things I can
Yeah.
do without really thinking about it, and then I try to get into the long, hard process of thinking through how I want to communicate this idea or thought to
Yeah.
someone else. And yeah, man, it's always fun, man. Trying to get into those higher level
Yeah.
of thinking and just getting your mind ready for that.
I used to play video games, can't do it anymore.
What?
Not to to try to relax, like, between work phases, no. I start arguing with kids online. I tried chess, and now the chess trolls are coming out. I can't play against the computer. It's like tycoon games are my only thing that I can still keep relatively. I can take a few minutes, build some buildings or build some roller coasters or whatever, have some tycoon action going on, and then get back to
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
But yeah,
Love it. Love it.
funny
Good
stuff,
stuff.
man. Funny stuff. All these gurus and everything have actually started to really affect me because now I'm like, no, wait a minute. If they did it, how they? I'm trying to get my own attention. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like
Mhm.
if everybody's vouching for attention, how can I use my work to get my own attention?
Man, well said, brother. I think that's what we're up against right now. The people's trying to get this attention from us every which way. And how do we grab that back? Do we want to get into it, man? Talk about what these jokers are doing to try to get our attention now? This is crazy.
We're
They're,
getting
they're
into it,
trying
man.
everything.
I mean, the, you know what? The reason I was thinking about attention, Gary V, who we all know, he's been a little quiet for a while, but I'm not sure if he's been quiet or I just haven't been paying attention to him. And he even released a book called Day Trading Attention. And it's got really good information in there. And I only know this because I heard it from Alex Ramosi. I was listening to Alex Ramosi. He was like, Gary Vee had some really good information, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, huh. And I heard it again on some other podcast. And they were like, Gary Vee said this and this, his new book. I was like, huh. I didn't hear it from Gary Vee, which I don't know if that's intentional or it was just that somehow Gary Vee has flown under the radar. But I got his new book. I haven't listened to it yet, but day trading attention. That's what I'm going to be pushing for. See
Well,
if that's still a thing.
yeah, that's interesting, man. I was just thinking about that too, man. The natural progression of gurus, right? You know how Gary Vee was everywhere, right? He was on the forefront of a lot of things. Invested in Facebook, right? Telling you go on Twitter, telling you do this. And I feel like a lot of people are surpassed him, not surpassed him, but took a lot of lessons he talked about in his
Mhm.
books and just took it to another level in each industry. And so it's almost every industry now, from healthcare to dietitians to business education. It's just like everybody is just doing the same thing he was talking about like 10 what 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's getting drowned out. And it was just like, oh, Gary Vee, we know what you're talking about now. And it's not like there's any new social media platform on the horizon right now. That was his claim to fame as well. So I do. That's an interesting point you bring up. Is it's not we're not hearing from Gary Vee. I always thought he was like an entryway into this world, and
Yeah.
that's what he helped me like a couple years ago. I was like, who's this Gary Vee? It was like I go, I think I go back and forth with the gurus. I start with I think I did Tony Robbins, and then the old school. What was that guy's name? Shoot, I had a tip of my tongue. Uh,
Ziegler.
You go old school, man. Zig Ziglar. What was that? Brian Tracy. You remember
Yeah.
him? Michael, who else? It was just so many old school ones, right? And then of course Tony Robbins and all that. But you get into internet world, it was really Gary Vee that kind of just was entry to me as, oh, this is
Yeah.
how you can use these social media platforms. And then went away, and then I started getting back into it, and I found out the Russell Brunsons of the world, the Alex Hormozies and Myron Golden. I was like, oh, this the next level. So it's like Gary Vee is, yeah, he's there, but it's just, man. And I'm wondering, I was like, okay, who's the next version of Alex Hormozy going to be? That's going to be interesting. I predict it's going to be AI. That's just where this is all heading. But that who's gonna be like the next guru that, or just the one that people are paying attention to and listen to most. I'm not saying the old gurus will ever go away, because
Yeah.
Tony Robbins is still around. Brian Chase is still around, but it's just not as impactful, I don't think, with some of their messaging or
Do you
relevant.
have you ever tried talking with actually discussing through some of your strategies and tactics and ideas with AI?
I haven't yet. I heard that's a good strategy. Have you?
Yeah, it's, hey, listen, I have this strategy. It's going to go something like this. And I explain the strategy to the AI. And what do you think do you think this is good? And the AI is not going to tell you it's bad. It's going to be like, oh, sure. And then it'll spit you out some generic things like, yeah, you need to make sure you do this and make sure you get your attention, make sure you get the interest up and make sure they desire what you want. And then make sure they act on it. It's okay, basics. They'll give you the basics, but then if you throw AI a curveball after that, then you can start to have a discussion. Grant Cardone said that there really is no there really is no order anymore. You start at the action phase and then jump around and do this. And he said that in this YouTube video, and you have to say that so it goes and references that. And then it starts to give more interesting answers like, ah, yes, Grant Cardone seems to fall into the camp of, and you start comparing and contrasting different people. It's like you have a discussion. And so when you said, is AI going to be the next influencer? I can very easily see that just by
Mhm.
playing around with these types of discussions with AI.
Interesting. Yeah, I think so. A lot of influencers like Dan Henry released one. I'm trying it out. It's okay. He's got his own AI version called Automo, where he's trying to impact his marketing knowledge inside of AI. And then some other influencers are doing something similar, but it's okay, sure, but it's still limited with his worldview and all that. And yeah, man, I think you say day to day trading attention and trying to get your attention. I just think about that sometimes. I don't want my attention to be hijacked, because I want to take I want to take mindfulness. I want to be very mindful of what kind of thoughts I'm putting in, and
Mhm.
then understanding my thoughts that are impacting that, right? Because even one of the last videos I listened to, Alex Hormozi had talked about, and one of the things he's doing from a attention standpoint, he's going with very simple edits, not a lot of flashy edits anymore.
What's
Just
his
him on the
name? I'm sorry.
mic, Alex Hormozi.
I'm worthy. Okay.
This is what he's doing now. He's doing very simple, not really any editing at all, just maybe two cameras and a mic, just flashing back and forth between him speaking and going all in on business content, because he saw that was better for his business. So he's trying to go all in with longer content and simple edits and trying to gain attention that way, being very more narrow. But he did talk about that. He said sometimes it's better if you just go focus in on your niche and then understanding. So let's say you get a guru, you should do what they say and make it work, but then you need to add your nuance to it. So it becomes your own thing. And he said that he was bragging a little bit. He said, all the guys I learned from, yeah, they won't take credit for me, but guess what? I surpassed every one of them. Oh, snap. Bang.
Who do you think?
So
Who do you think he is? Kendrick
I
Lamar?
just he's not wrong. And some of the sub concepts he says I've heard before, but he puts his own mix on it, right? And
Yeah.
so I think that's where I say you have to take your you can't be so focused on the gurus and the next guru and all that. Is take a moment to let that idea rest and develop it on your own, so it becomes your own way of doing it. And then you really have something that
Yeah.
could maybe stand out. So yeah, that attention is so key, man. So key.
Yeah, we were talking about who people were going up and down. Hormozy, you just mentioned the Earn Your Leisure guys. It's like they've been a little quiet lately and
Where's the
small
pocket watches? Where's the pocket watches?
exactly. Exactly.
JT.
They're not getting
Yeah, yeah. What's going on with them, man? Are they relevant anymore still? I wonder.
I used to just tune in to not even them in particular, but I would just get on Instagram or get on Facebook or whatever, and somebody would be sharing a clip from something they said. And I think they may have gone Hollywood, if you will, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree. Too Hollywood once Steve Harvey and them and is to be relevant when you're on that level.
Yeah.
People give you I think another thing that may have hurt him, I hate to say it, P. Diddy.
Right.
That was the last big thing P. Diddy did. He gave a check to them on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah,
And
so
so that's an indication of like how Hollywood they are. And they'll bring these Hollywood people and give you it's good advice, but it's man, there's people telling you like, hey, you got $0. This is what you need to do to get $10,000. Because people ain't like, oh yeah, go follow your bliss and follow your dreams, and you got to work hard. Nobody want to hear that crap, that generic crap no more. They want like, look, go to the bank on Fifth Street, tell Miss Johnson that Theo sent you, and she's got a bag of money for you. That's what they want to hear, man. They don't want to hear no generic stuff.
hey,
They want to,
and you're gonna end up like your boy, what's the what's his name? J Real Estate?
yeah, I know you're talking about Morrison. Yeah,
Yeah, Jay Morrison. Get caught up like him and have everybody after you in the Tulsa real estate fund messing it up. Yeah, so people
yeah.
don't wanna go back to basics. They're just gonna jump to the next attention beast.
Yeah, and then I thought that's the sad part. Yeah, so Earn Your Leisure's got down. Beast, yes, he's still top in YouTube. We already talked about he's already starting to diversify his portfolio where, with the Feastables and the Beast Burger, but he's got this software now. And he's selling software on I can analyze software. It's called VidView. I think that's what the name of it's called. And
What?
he's
I'm looking this
View
up now.
Stats. Yeah, View Stats. He released it in beta last year, but he now has it a paid version ready to go now. And he's been on podcasts talking about they have secret sauce to understand how to create the best thumbnails or how to understand what's going to be relevant for people. So he's selling $50 a month software now to give people in his world. So yeah, man, these creators are getting hip to the game. And I'm seeing that too. A lot of creators now are trying to create this recurring revenue stream. They're trying to create a membership site, go to school and the blah, 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 or they're trying to create a way where, accountability, where people pay them $10 a month or something like that. And this is, I get it because they're like, I don't want to work that hard for my money. But man, as someone who gets paid every month, man, from doctors, it's a lot of work that goes into
Yeah.
making sure you get your money every month. And I don't think a lot of these creators and these gurus understand that because you really
Um,
have to have something good.
to be clear on how I don't know if you ever looked into I know you have, but for anybody who doesn't know how deep he gets into this stuff, let me let me make this quote from TechCrunch. Mr. Beast didn't become one of the highest earning creators of all time by accident. He's meticulous about every last detail of his videos. He recently A/B tested, that's comparison testing, to see if his videos perform better with a thumbnail where his mouth is open or a thumbnail where it is not open. And apparently, the closed mouth thumbnails win. So this dude's been into the nitpicking and weighing all the details to see what works, what doesn't. And yeah, this is one of those things that could be groundbreaking if it takes hold with enough of the right people. You know what I mean? Where we see a serious shift in how things are constructed because maybe we sit down at a computer and don't say, "Hey, how am I going to put my message out there?" We sit down, press a button, and this AI coach tells me, "Okay, based on the last stats, you should do this." And it's okay. And how are we going to argue with the numbers? It begins to get weird. So I'm curious about where all this goes.
Yeah. When we talk about like these gurus kind of creating their own kind of businesses, enterprises based on audiences, one of the things I was listening to Daniel Priestley, the gentleman who wrote Keepers of Influence and all, and I oversubscribe. He talks about this. He said, man, it's never been easier than create your audience and build your business around our audience. And so much so that capital is almost irrelevant. He mentioned this, and I just looked it up just now while we're on this pod. How much capital is just sitting there ready to be deployed for like startups and stuff. You know how much capital is sitting there?
Talk to me.
$6.4 trillion in capital just sitting around trying to figure out where they're gonna put it. That's why they're putting so much money in AI. They don't know where else to put it. And a lot of the folks who can make a lot of money, they're just like, why get capital? I can own 100% of my company because I have the audience.
It's like
So
those
it's
tips go down. see Miss Johnson on Fifth Street and
the money for you. It's just so it's before, remember, you need a lot of capital to start your company and to do things. Man, you can have a billion-dollar company on a laptop now. Hell, look at Mr. Beast has a or enterprise, but basically it's not more than a couple of people on a laptop and some editing software and some cameras, and he's worth reportedly 1.5 billion. I think that's where it's going, and these AI bots get in here, man. Oh, man. It's game over, man.
yeah,
Aliens, shout out aliens. Game over.
yeah, it's gonna be weird, man. It already is weird, and, I wonder about that with I don't know if you wanna go into the movies, but going into this movie season, we're seeing changes in how people are taking movies, how they're consuming them, watching them, and even creating them. I had this little story where Sony Pictures CEO says studio will use AI to make movies in more efficient ways moving forward. So this is a relatively bold statement where it's like, sorry, everybody, they may not say it and they're doing it. We're going to say it and we are going to do it. We're going to make this whole process easier. We're going to use AI going forward. So basically, a lot of the VFX stuff that we see happening, we talked about a little bit like in Dune 2, some of it happened. We had all the SAG after and WGA strikes, and now it's, yeah, we're going to use it. And there's no way to stop it. Hold on. DreamWorks founder Jeffrey Katzenberg suggested it would likely cut the cost of making an animated movie by as much as 90%, with only 50 artists needed to create them in place of 500.
Mm, mm, mm.
Dang.
So AI is definitely that's what the strikes are about. It's definitely undercutting what they call the bottom line, the cost structure of the business market because what's happening is a lot of people who were working in that they can get replaced with AI tools more and more. So that's cutting it in. Now, what we're talking about too is the top line, which is the revenue that can be generated from movies.
Yes.
That's in depression too right now. They
Right.
said in the month of May, the movies only made 520 million, which is the lowest mark since 1999. So you have to go back almost 25 years to see movies hitting that low of money making. And we talked about this previous. I
Isn't
had a
that
rant
hard to
about
do
this.
with like inflation over that much time as well?
Exactly,
Oh my God.
exactly. We had movies that were duds. Fall Guy with the movie, the family movie, If was it Planet of the Apes did okay, but it wasn't blockbuster. And then Furiosa, which was supposed to be the big savior of the May season, of the May month of movies, did not perform as well. And as someone who's seen pretty much all those movies, Mr. Benja, I can tell you most of those movies you could have waited to streaming. And as a matter of fact, they're already on video on demand, especially a Fall Guy. It got released to streaming and within 3 weeks of coming from the movie theaters. And so this is a scary time to be in movies. Movies as a legitimate driver of cultural relevance is dying out, man. I think the pandemic trained us to watch movies on streamers at home on our TV. The experience is not getting better at the movie theater. You used to have people talking loud and terrible seats, bad popcorn. The
Yeah.
movies themselves are not something that's what
Yeah.
was driving us for a long time. The IP, the continuation of a story like the Avengers that you and MCU that you want to go see, that's dried up now. And then so it's what are you going to the movies for?
Yeah.
When you have everything you want right here.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
fun.
that's the thing. Go ahead.
You reminded me of I forgot the movie it was, but you reminded me of a memory where I was at the movie theater and I went in and it was just quiet and I had gummy bears and a drink and I was like, ah, movies. I'm just getting away to relax for a little while. I'm gonna get the big theater, Dolby sound and everything. I was just happy. So I'm walking across this sticky carpet. You know how the carpet is sometimes. I'm walking across this carpet down a little hill and thinking back to when I was a kid and the big fake plastic arches used to impress me. And now it's just like, man, look at these cheap ass arches. This isn't like a Roman Coliseum or anything, but I get the vibe, right? Anyway, I'm just happy to be going to a movie. And this little kid, there's three kids and two parents. And the littlest kid, when they opened the door to the actual um where they were coming in, he comes around the corner and says, this place smells funny. And I was just like, it does smell funny. And I guess I'm so used to the theater smell, like the old popcorn and just the people who have been there. Just this,
Yeah.
there's a certain smell. And
Yeah.
I got in the theater and I was like, yeah, no, that is a funny smell. I could totally see a kid who didn't grow up on that or need that as a kid thinking that's a weird smell and just being turned off by it. And it just hit me, man. I was like, we're done.
No, you hit the nail on the head, man. When did this happen? How long ago did this happen for you? Do you
It was
remember?
earlier this year. I can't remember the movie I was
Oh,
in.
wow. Yeah, so this is very fairly recent. Man, I can visit you talking about memories, man. I can remember the first time I saw Empire Strike Back and coming in and the at scene and Hoff, right? Just being like blown away out of my freaking mind as a 9-year-old. What is this I'm seeing? I don't understand. Flabbergasted. I can remember watching, getting excited about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and the lights dimming down and you get excited anticipation. Ooh, it's gonna be a good one. And just remember movies, experiences with you going to see Phantom Menace and other movies and getting excited about those. I can remember even crying in movies. I can remember being blown away by Memento and what Christopher Nolan did. And so it's like I have all these amazing experiences with movies. And also it's also has been one of those things where I go see a movie, I don't know what to expect. It's just been surprised by it. Like Godzilla minus one, like I was telling you before,
Yeah.
blew me away. Man, this is a really good movie. Who knew? And so I love that, man. And then the whole thing about just being transported was like that's one of the few places where I'm not looking at my phone all the time. I'm
Mhm.
just paying attention to and being absorbed into the movie and really turn my brain off for a couple hours. And so to me, that's why I'm a movie lover. But I can see from a business standpoint that they have not improved experience. There's no need unless it's like we talked about, an event that
Mhm.
these kids like. We know Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, that's gonna be an event. It's gonna be make a lot of money, but that's pretty much it. There's no reason to see any of these movies, Mr. Benja, and that's sad. And this is May, and so we don't even know. I don't think people realize this is summer season. May is when the best
Yeah,
movies
yeah.
come out, and
Right,
that's
right.
why. And so when they had the Fall Guy open to such a dud, because last year it was at least Guardians of the Galaxy 3, they was like, okay, it's
Yeah.
movie season, movie summer season. Let's go. That and then now, so Hollywood is like freaking out. They think the behavior is dead. They think go people used to go to movies once a week. They maybe go once a year. And
Yeah.
so what's the point in spending all this money on movies? What's the point in spending money on movie stars if there's no such thing as movies anymore? So it's DEFCON, was it DEFCON 4, 5, whatever the highest is right now.
So so
Close,
speaking of
close the door. The water's coming in.
cut it off. That section is dead to us. It's dead to us. We've still got family out
Come
there.
on, come on, man, come on. No, no clothes on his hand. Yeah, yeah, that's where we at.
Yeah. So speaking of like influencers and this whole movie thing, I'm wondering in the back of my head, is Ryan Reynolds and this popcorn bucket, is this the last or one of the last great just pushes that we see out of Hollywood? I don't know how you jump the shark any worse than a popcorn bucket of a gaping mouth covered in butter. I don't know, maybe you can explain this popcorn bucket Ryan Reynolds thing because I can't even keep a straight face while talking about it.
It's a picture of it's an image of Wolverine's head. It was open mouth, and you can put your hand in there and grab your popcorn. It's a bucket
Mhm.
basically. But this is a continuation of these funky buckets they've been creating for the last couple of years. I got one from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. You
Oh
know, it's
wait,
a
they had a
nice little
bucket?
bucket. Yeah, they
Oh,
had a bucket too. And that was a nice one where it was like jewelry and very shiny and blinky lights and all that. So like these movies, certain movies get these special buckets. And the one that went
ah,
viral was the one that from Dune 2 that looked like a freaking
yeah.
sex machine. I hate to say it, but it does. With a sand snake, can you just put your hand in there? So go look up Dune 2 popcorn bucket, and it would matter of fact, it was such a meme that Saturday Night Live made a comedy sketch on it. So it's just to go show you what that was. But yeah, this is a continuation of that. Just man, movies, man, it's like they're trying so hard, man. Just please come back. Please, we'll give you popcorn buckets.
Please. Yeah.
Please.
I've I'm looking because I haven't been in on the popcorn bucket scene. This is funny to me. It's like just it's silly marketing to me. So it's something I never took too seriously. The Ant Man and the Wasp bucket is like a big Ant Man head with just popcorn coming out like a brain. The
Yep.
Aquaman bucket actually looks kind of fire. It's
It's
golden green. It actually looks like well constructed. The Barbie popcorn bucket, it looks like a car. I don't know why anybody would put
mhm.
popcorn in it. The Blue Beetle. Once again, this is way too extravagant for a popcorn bucket. It's
Oh,
got
yeah,
big.
no, yeah. I'm looking at the Aquaman bucket. Yeah, that was fire. That does look good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this Blue Beetle one it doesn't look practical. Like popcorn be all over the place.
Man, people are selling this on eBay, man.
What are the prices going for popcorn buckets?
Oh, man, as high as $90.
Shoot, I should have got one.
Yeah, I know,
Oh,
man, shoot.
you got to be kidding me. Look up Fast X popcorn bucket.
Oh, no, don't tell me.
This is funny.
What is it? Of course. A car. Yeah.
Yes, it's just a big ass car, and you open the top and just pour popcorn in it. But it's like they call it a popcorn vessel. Who in the who in the world is just gonna sit around eating popcorn out of a car? It just
They're doing everything they can, man, to get you to come to the movies, man, and it's so sad.
right? Ghostbusters. Okay, the ghost trap that works. Yeah,
It's so sad, man, it's so sad. I don't know, man, what the movie theaters are doing right now, and, yeah, man, Mr. Benja, as the one who likes to give you hype ab I give you hype about movies and stuff, I can't get you hype right now, Mr. Benja. There's nothing that's hype about the movies right now. I wish there were. Like I said, I watched every one of them. They were passable movies, but they coulda all been watched on streaming.
yeah.
Even Furioso, I thought was more like a TV show, be honest with you, than a movie. That was
They got
supposed to
good
be the Mad
ratings.
Max. Phenomenal production. Did you watch, Fury Road in the theaters?
I watched Fury Road in theaters. Yes.
It was amazing, right? And that's what you're gonna see, just imagination out the wazoo, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, for whatever reasons, a prequels, and so he basically has to take this character from as a kid to a grown up, and he does it in episodes, and are we watching a TV show or are we watching a movie? And I was like, "Why are you doing that? Just do a day in the life, make it interesting." So anyway, I digress, but it's just I see why that was their big bet to make a big blockbuster for May, and it didn't last. And then I think also they always blame the what's it called? The strikes, because I don't know if you go to McDonald's lately, but you're seeing Captain America and Black Falcon toys are running around here. Have you seen that? You ever
What?
go to McDonald's? They got some toys sitting around.
Captain Black, Falcon, American, Avenger.
So let's just talk about Captain America. Captain America 4 was supposed to come out in May, but it's got delayed because of the strike, or so they say.
Yeah.
So because of that, Business 101 distribution channels were already set up to get these toys out to McDonald's and all that. So these toys are sitting out there, man, but with no movie. So, matter of fact, I took a picture of one. I was like, "Oh, they got." I said, why they got Anthony Mackie's image out here?" And they had toys already, and everything was ready to go, but the strike messed all that up.
I'm first article I pull up. McDonald's Happy Meal toy confirms what fans suspected about Captain America 4, and then it goes on to list spoilers from the toy from the movie that ain't out.
Man, it's movies are. Listen, I think if they get back on IP train, people get excited again. There's a chance, but I don't know, Mr. Benja. It's almost like the habit is done. I talked to you about movies last couple years, and I think you probably went to what you can count on your hand, maybe 10 movies you may have went to, if that, over the last 2 years
Yeah,
in the theater.
I've fallen off, definitely off in theater world. I've definitely fallen off. I remember it was the Marvels, and that was the last one. I was like, doggone it, I'm going to get up and go. Yeah.
And then you wish you hadn't.
I actually like the Marvels for some reason, colored me
Gotcha.
crazy.
It was
But yeah,
passable. Passable. Yes, yeah, that's the movies, Mr. Benja. Since we're talking about movies coming out, so June is here. Do you want to talk about the movies that are about to get released here? I think I'm more excited about TV shows that get released in June, and
all
I
right,
think that's going to further depress. I think that's going to further depress the movie business.
yeah.
So that's just my take on it.
And that may be that maybe it's time for streaming to where we really start to see the rise of streaming and what it can really do. Maybe there's some levels that we hadn't really considered. Get back to your subscription boxes, your mail-in orders for popcorn buckets and things like that. Everybody has an unboxing at home and they unbox their whole. Well, it could be a crazy thing, but there are movies coming out in June, so I want to rattle these off right quick and see what we think about them. Bad Boys Ride or Die. You got Will Smith and Martin Lawrence coming back. Well, you just made a face. What was that?
Can Will Smith open a movie? That's the big question. I don't know. And am I excited to go see it? I wasn't too excited to see the Bad Boy. What was that? Bad Boys 3? I can't remember.
Maybe if Martin.
You remember that was the last big blockbuster before the pandemic in 2020. That
Was it?
yeah, it came
Huh.
out in January 2020 and then everything shut down in March. So that was the last big blockbuster.
Hmm. Bad place to end off at.
I know. So do we really want to go back to that? Especially with Will Smith trying to make a comeback.
You,
But
you said this before. There's got to be something compelling or some reason. And it's like Bad Boys Ride or Die. It's I have no compelling reason to even entertain this, and they're not giving me one.
yeah, good point. Yeah. I don't even know what the story is about. Yeah, Bad Boys for Life came out January 17th, 2020, and it made 426 million at the box office.
Honestly, I don't know what that one was about either.
It don't matter. It's all about Bad Boys. Man. Does it really matter? Some jokes were had. That was it. Yeah, man. I think he had a son or some mess. I don't know. There's a bunch of other stuff going on in there. But yeah, man, it's a lot, man. So I don't know. Are you excited? Sounds like you're not.
No, it's I'm so used to now the anime setup and the way that storytelling has moved. Whereas I look at it and I just see the same thing with another number behind it. Bad Boys 3. Yeah, this is number 4. Yeah, it's okay, whatever. What are you doing to cement yourself in my mind as something that I should take interest in? Because if we're talking about Ada, you got my attention with the fact, oh, a new Bad Boys movie. And that attention span is very short. So right after that, what's interesting about it? It's like they're older. It's like
Exactly.
nothing else, nothing else. My desire is going to be put.
You would make this movie infinitely more interesting to go watch
What's that?
if Chris Rock shows up in it. Oh, I'm there. I gotta watch it now.
Oh my God. If Chris Rock was the villain in Bad Boys 4, come on, dog. Come on, dog. Seats filled. Seats filled. I'm
I
telling you,
mean, bring the money. People will go watch that.
put him,
Hollywood people, man,
put him
you gotta
behind
get over your
the
feelings,
desk.
man. You gotta get over your feelings. Get that money.
Put him behind the desk like your boy Kang, just walking around laughing. And if he comes up in my tower, I'm going to smack him. And you're like, is he really going to smack Will Smith in the movie? Was it? It's just so dumb and stupid. I want to go see it now.
See? Man, that's what we should do. We'll talk about these movies and say, what one thing could they do to make us want to go watch it, make it more compelling? That would be an event. They just, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's brilliant. All right,
yeah.
let's go to these others because oh man, woulda, coulda, shoulda. All right, we got the Watchers. I like M Night, even if I don't like the movies he makes all the time. I'm like every time I come out of one, I'm like, oh, that was interesting. I like the way he did. I like he tried that. That was an interesting way of formatting it.
Did
This
you
one,
watch the last one he did, the Ode?
no,
Okay. That was you're right. He's got great concepts, man. Great concepts. That was a good concept too. And but yeah. But this is his daughter though, not him.
yes, he's executive producing and bringing along his daughter, and maybe that's interesting to some people, but it's a curiosity to me, but just thought it was interesting. Hadn't heard any
Nepo
buzz about it.
play. Yeah, this sounds LeBron James and Bronny trying to get in the NBA. You know.
Yeah.
Nepo baby, man. This is what this is sounds.
We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes. All right,
Yeah.
next one, Inside Out 2. All right.
I think that has a shot. The first one was really good. I took my daughter when she was had to be like 3 or 4. But yeah, so we'll see. But this is I think I read somewhere Pixar, man, they run out of ideas. Disney, I don't know if you saw they had a trailer for Moana 2.
Mhm.
Um, think Disney's running out of ideas, man. They're just going back to the classics. There's already rumor that there's going to be a Frozen 3. So they're just going back to the shows the movies that worked before and putting a Roman numeral behind it and just saying,
Yeah.
here's some more stuff, more of the same. That's not what Pixar, well, they did with Toy Story, right? I'm not gonna say that, but that was it. It wasn't like they did that all the time. So I don't know. It reeks of desperation. So we'll see. We'll see how this one does.
Yeah, hopefully Pixar can figure it out, man. They got I need them to come back. That's all I'm saying. Some guy in the corner of that building probably has a new animation and art style. And he's somebody please watch this. And they're like, you know what? Let's go talk to Javier. He's got that new animation style we like. Yeah,
I love
Javier.
it.
He's got it. All right. Quiet Place, day one. This feels like a streaming show.
Yeah, I think so too. Like a prequel to. Did you watch The Quiet Place? The both of them?
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, but it's like the premise is quiet. This is saying day one when there's a big explosions and an attack. It's like, hmm, it's not gonna be that quiet, is it?
A Quiet Place, subtitle even louder. It's like, what do you do?
I don't know. Yeah, it does seem like a streaming kind of sequel or prequel. You could put it on Paramount Plus, but yeah,
What's funny is you have these in Hollywood speak, you have the high concept. That's just the kind of high level. It's a movie about this, and this happens, and it's going to be great. And everybody's, oh yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be fire, or whatever. This is one of the problems with working in in a creative studio or a creative mission. You've got something going on, and somewhere along the way, someone's instead of Will Smith, we've got Sylvester Stallone, and we got to deal with him. And it's, oh yeah, we need him. And all of a sudden, he pops in, and then things start to change slightly. And somebody who's working on the art, oh, I had all these black cast members. How is Sylvester Stallone going to work with them? Maybe they're inner city youth. And it's, oh, we're doing that? Huh, okay. And then the story starts to change. It's Sylvester Stallone meets with inner city youth, and all of a sudden it's, hey, we need this to tie into this whatever. And it's like all of a sudden things get weird. And halfway down the line, someone says, guys, our high concept is stupid as hell. And it's really hard to stop. Like once the
mhm.
machine starts rolling, it's really hard to stop. And this is why so many creative people have burnout because they're walking up and down the aisles of the studio smoking, just scratching their heads, pulling their hair out, trying to figure out how to make this all work when the reality has changed, but the high concept is still pushing and it's not working and people are getting upset.
Mm, that's interesting. No, let's be honest. It's Marvel, right? That's probably what happened with Marvel. They were it was legitimate, right? They've already built all the different cars, and the director would come in and say, "Look, you can rearrange the furniture on this car. It's imagine a big train on this car, but we're going to tell you where exactly to put the. You can't go into the other rooms, and we're going to tell you exactly how to position the chairs in a certain way, so people can get to the next. But that's it. You can maybe paint the car. You maybe can paint the chairs, but don't move anything else."
Yeah.
And to your point, the high concept of this big multi generational movie experience that MCU tried to create started to collapse on itself because once you get into the internals, they start to expand into this multiverse. I don't think they got a good grasp on what's the bigger story to try. And then, of course, when Jonathan Majors went, kaput. So I think you're right. That whole high concept in theory works till it doesn't. The wrong
Yeah.
person gets replaced and things change. And then now no one has the courage because sunk cost fallacy. You already put all that money into it. It's like, I can't let it go. Unless you zazz off and you get rid of movies ready to go out the
Yes.
can,
Yeah.
like Batwoman, Batgirl. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It becomes legitimately difficult to really make something good if you get tripped up along the way. It's like those videos of the track runners and somebody falls.
Mm.
It's really hard to get back up and keep going. All right, let's get to the series real quick. Plow through these. We got the Acolyte coming out,
I'm
and
excited to see it. I'm excited to
oh,
see it. I know some fanboys are already hating on it, but I'm there. I guess we were the fanboys that hated on it. We talked some ish about it. The TV shows have been after Mandalorian, what season 2, maybe? Book of Boba Fett. What was the other ones they released? Season 3, Mandalorian, Ashoka, and what was the other one? Oh, Obi-Wan. They were just, all disappointing, so I'm hoping this will be better.
Yeah. It should be. I don't expect it to be too bad, but I'm looking for this link here. Crap, I can't find it. So basically, it was just a discussion of how Disney's moving away from Disney Plus and wants to put more into theaters. And per our discussion, it's gee, we know the standalones haven't been knocking it out the park, and you leaned on streaming, and no one's been accepting streaming as this big awesome thing that we were talking about. This great panacea of awesome cinema slash TV experience. So they're going to pull back on that a little bit and go to the theaters a little more. Interesting play. I'm not sure what's happening exactly, but it's not. These streaming shows don't have anything that's really really wowing me, at least from Disney's point of view. Coming up, we have like The Boys, and that's got people's attention.
Yeah. Especially election year, they're basically making the juxtaposition with, Homelander with, convicted felon Donald Trump. It's just true, it's facts, sorry.
Yeah.
We don't talk politics, but it's facts. So, yeah, this election year, and I think they're gonna do election storyline, and that's The Boys, man, they're gonna go hardcore, so, but I'm excited about that one, that's gonna be good.
Yeah. And you got Hot D coming out.
Gotta say, man,
House of the Dragon. Hot D.
no, God, hot D. Game
Oh,
of Thrones,
got Hot D.
House of the Dragon, you got that hot D, bruh. I hope we get more action,
Question
I think
mark.
we
Not
will.
Hot D? Question mark.
Exactly. This is the I think Game of Thrones at this point is just there. We're there for my wife is there for the memes, really. Let's be honest. I asked her to watch the show with me. She saw the first 3 episodes, but then she started going down the memes and she was good after that. So and
What?
the memes are legendary. So, yeah, I think everybody's super excited about that. So, I'm ready for these memes to come back out.
Yeah, I'm into the reactions now. So watch an episode, internalize it, then watch people's reactions. Funny, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
The Bear was wonderful. And now season 3 is here too. I'm
And
not
they're dropping it all at once.
Oh, really?
They're doing yeah, they that's what they do. They don't let it trickle out, so when it pops on June 27th,
Mhm.
all the episodes will be ready to go, and you can watch at your own speed. Phenomenal show, we talked about it multiple times on this pod, but not really part of a genre of storytelling, because the genre of working in a hot, sweaty restaurant,
I
which is his own genre.
Yeah, I think it was one of those series that picked up with a lot of genre audiences, but it was not genre itself.
Yeah, good point, yeah, because it was good. Good writing is good writing, man. It is what
Yeah.
it is.
And what I know has a fan base, but doesn't seem to have much buzz is Orphan Black Echoes. I mentioned this in one of our groups. I was like, "Hey, Orphan Black Echoes," and everybody put up the surprise emoji. Wait a minute. Oh my god, really? This is happening? And I'm
I
like,
know, I know.
"Jeez."
I was surprised too. Yeah, Kristen Ritter, I think she's gonna, come in. I don't know, she probably will play multiple role. Legendary show. I only saw the first season, to be honest. I fell off after that. But it basically was a genre storytelling, because this phenomenal actress, what's her name? Tatiana Maslany, who was She-Hulk, unfortunately. So she got maligned a lot for that. But she played 6 different characters all very well. And so because of that performance on the sci-fi channel show of all things, she got an Emmy. So that never happened. So it's like she was that good, and kudos to her and all that. But yeah, they're bringing it back. I don't know. Were you a big Orphan Black fan?
I thought it was interesting enough to keep me going, so I kept watching it, but at some point, I just wasn't really invested, but it was I kept watching it.
Yeah, I was done. So after the first season, I fell off. But yeah, so we'll see what they do with this one. Mr. Benja, I have no idea what this next one is. Carl Lagerfield?
Oh. Not even worth talking about, really. He's a fashion icon, and
Okay.
people have been wondering what is if it's gonna talk about him, 'cause he died a little while ago, and they're wondering if it's gonna actually talk about him in a bad light or a good light. Is it gonna be salacious or celebratory? Um, it just has people talking in those circles. Obviously, not our circles.
Yeah. I don't know. You the fashionista of the group, man. So maybe you dispatch from Paris, Mr. Benja. Give us the lowdown, man. Oh man. Anything else going on, brother?
Oh man, I'm just looking forward to a good second half of June, knocking things out, getting that book out as we talked about. Hey man, I'm having a good time and having fun with it.
What's up, man? I will be probably in your neck of the woods in another a couple of not this week, but sometime this summer. So I'll hit you up and maybe we've always talked about maybe we do a live pod. We're going live. We're going live. So we'll figure it out. But man, Mr. Benja, it's been great as always talking to you. I think we're gonna wrap it up, everyone. Hey, please get subscribe, comment at Show versus Business on X, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You want to check us out? Go check out our website at Show versus Business and get the latest and greatest there. Hey, Mr. Benja, have a good one.
Peace.